All right. Hello, everybody. This is RP2 Labanka. And before we get into today's video, I just have to say I do not represent the DoD. These are my personal opinions and experiences with the RP rating. So, on my first YouTube video, Catherine made a comment that I thought I'd make a video to. And she said, "Why did you become an RP? It sounds like you like the bodyguard aspect, the wielding of the firearms, and being positioned by the Marine Corps. And you definitely enjoy helping people in their worst times. That is amazing." Catherine, thank you so much for commenting. She has a little bit more here, but I'm going to go through this first section first. So, obviously, being in the RP community and rating, the easiest way and the coolest way to explain this job to anybody who doesn't know anything about the military, and let's be honest, even people in the military don't know anything about RPs, is just saying that I'm a bodyguard for the chaplain. Sounds a lot cooler, makes me sound badass, right? It sounds like a badass job, but in reality, that's not all that it is. Now, it is true when we are with the Marine Corps aspect of this job, that is quite literally what it is. We are in charge of that chaplain's safety, and that is our priority. And just like a little personal background of myself, I really want to be in tuned in that side of the RP community. I just haven't had the opportunity yet to go with the Marine Corps, but hopefully after my contract now, I get to do that. But I actually first tried to join the Marine Corps. The Navy was my last option. I tried every single branch. Every branch denied me because of a medical waiver. So it would be nice to still get that satisfaction out of that, but I'm more than happy enough doing what I do wherever it may be, because going into the next portion, I really do enjoy helping people. Now, the real reason why I chose RP, I did not join the Navy as an RP. I joined the Navy as a PAC sailor, and I made a previous PAC sailor video getting into all the details about that. But basically, you come in without a designation and without a job. You get that year of experience kind of seeing how the Navy operates and how things go, and then you can strike whatever community, whatever rate you want to go for that you qualify for. So originally, I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to either go SWIC or I wanted to go QM. So SWIC is a special warfare unit. The main thing that is probably the Navy's best kept secret. The main thing they prioritize is the transportation of the SEAL teams. And QM, quartermaster, they handle charting and stuff for how ships maneuver. And the reason why I wanted to choose both those rates is SWIC, I still had that bug in me. I was really upset that I couldn't join the branch I actually wanted to join. So I wanted to do that cool guy shit, right? And then quartermaster, that is a sailor's job. The two most sailor jobs in the Navy, BMs, boatswain mates, and QMs, quartermasters. It does not get any more sailor than that. But one day while I was standing watch, I ran into a chaplain and an RP1. He's a chief now, but RP1 sheets, and we were just talking for like 10 minutes, and I looked at him and I asked him, "What do you do? Like, what's your rate?" And we talked about it, and I'm going to be honest with you, that night I sat down and I had to have a heart-to-heart talk with myself. I had to really think why I wanted to go SWIC, right? And if I even cared about that mission and what they do. And in reality, I didn't give a fuck, right? I only wanted to do it just so people looked at me a specific way, and I was the cool guy and this and that. And like, I personally just did not care about the mission on what that job would have me doing. And quartermaster, it's just nothing wrong with it. I have a lot of respect for that rate because it is a sailor's job. Like, bare bones, that is a sailor's job. And regardless, I just didn't want to do it. What RPs do, what we represent, and the opportunities that we have to help people, I felt it is a rating where I can make an impact on the Navy. Now, obviously not the Navy as a whole, but the individuals that need help, that's what I want to be here for. I want to be that leadership that can be there for that Marine or be there for that sailor when they need it most, right? So that's why I wanted to come into this community, and thankfully I was able to join this community. So Catherine is currently looking into a few different options. Air Force, Navy, has a friend who's in the Army that she's been talking to, and just trying to find out what she really wants to do, right? I don't want to give out too much information. And I'm going to be honest, I think as everyone who is rated, right, should believe, RP is the best job in the Navy, all right? I already said it in the past videos. Are we an important job to Big Navy now? Yes, right? Big Navy is taking, in my opinion, this huge move on raising the spiritual readiness of our sailors and the Marine Corps as well. They've always been raising that spiritual readiness of their Marines so that they can be the best warriors that they can be in any given combat environment, right? And I, as what is quite literally my job, I want to foster and assist that growth and assist anybody who's around me so they can be ready for whatever the fight is that's coming forward. Not for me to say. Now, the interesting thing about being an RP that Catherine, I kind of took from this, I've noted the consideration of impartially two different religions as very important. So, how I want to kind of break this down, right? A lot of people ask me, how can you be biased to different religions, right? How can you not judge? Because obviously, like a big example, Catholicism, and Islamic religions, a lot of conflicting factors there, right? And the easiest way that I talk about, and one of my mentors taught me, we are not a Catholic program specialist. We're not a Jewish program specialist. We're not an Islamic program specialist. We're not a Protestant program specialist. We are religious program specialists, right? So for myself, there is a complete difference between RP2 Labenka religiously and Armando Labenka, because when I have that RP2, I have to represent what that stands for. A lot of people, everyone in the Navy looks at RPs completely differently, right? Especially if they know what RPs do. There are gunnery sergeants with the Marine Corps. I was going through a motorcycle course, and the second they found out that my rate was RP, they just opened up. Like they really were messing with me. They were willing to talk to me, like play around, all that, making fun of me for not being good at riding a motorcycle. It was like, that was just a super, super cool experience, because they probably had past experiences where they had good RPs, but that also works in a negative aspect if there are RPs that are just bad, like fat, out of shape, not caring about their people. The biggest thing is we need to care what we're doing for our people, and people will notice that, right? So that's just like the quickest, biggest way to explain that. But getting to a little bit more on why I wanted to be an RP, I wrote down 10 questions here. Some points here I might be hitting again a second time, so bear with me. But what inspired you to pursue the role that supports the spiritual and emotional needs of others? So, Big Navy, under my interpretation, this huge push, as I already said, of spiritual readiness for our sailors to be in the fight, right? So there's that initiative there where I want my sailors to be ready for whatever's happening. So when we're fighting a fire on whatever USS Never sails, right, whatever ship you're on in the middle of the ocean, you're not lacking in your spiritual readiness. You're not being held back by some kind of belief, but that belief is fostering you to assist yourself and assist the others who are in that firefight with you, quite literally. So that's just my view on that. How does the RP rate align with your personal values and beliefs? So I was teaching a class the other day, and kind of how this community aligns when it comes to like competence. I want to be as competent as I can be in my job, right? And my job covers so many variety and different aspects of being an RP. So like obviously, talking about the Marine Corps once again, if I was stationed with the Marine Corps, I need to be physically fit. I need to know how to shoot my firearm. I need to be able to keep up with the Marines, and I need to be able to supervise my chaplain so they can stay out of danger and I can stay out of danger. So the Marines cannot worry about the chaplain and myself, and they can worry about actually being Marines and doing what they do. And in return, then Chaps can do what he needs to do to assist the Marines, and I can play my role in assisting him and assisting other Marines. So the way I see it, if I'm competent in what I'm doing and I'm really getting after what I'm doing, I will be allowed the privilege to support everyone else around me if it's a situation where unfortunately they're going through it a little bit and they're getting hit while they're down. I can be that person to help raise them up. So that's just kind of how that aligns with myself. What experiences in your life led you to feel the call to a supportive role like ARP? So the Navy's the best thing that ever happened to me, right? Despite the fact that it was quite literally the last branch I wanted to join. It completely turned my life around, and I've seen things that I've seen things that I never thought I would see before, and I experienced so much personal growth in a short 3 years that if I didn't join the Navy, I would never have experienced. Something that kind of led me towards this role was just trying to get better and leave behind those bad habits and the terrible man that I used to be. And being in a role like this where I care for others and I try to support others, it just fostered that growth, and it really, really supported me. So, next question. How do you feel about working closely with people of different faiths, cultures, and beliefs? So me personally, it doesn't bother me at all, right? I see everybody, especially in the service, as a brother and sister. I want to support them the best of my capabilities so they can have a good career, right? Now, there are other RPs, like when we do interviews and stuff, I hear about all the time. They have that conflict, right? Whatever their religious belief is, they don't want to work with a chaplain of the opposite religious belief. And that's something that can be very hard for people to get over. But the chaplains and RPs offer such a unique array of support that quite literally nobody else can offer, where if I let something like my different faith and culture make my professional decisions, that could turn that Marine away and lead that down to terrible consequences. Same exact thing for a sailor. So it just doesn't bother me personally. What does service to others mean to you, and how does that relate to the RP role? So how this relates to the RP role and service to others is just maintaining professionalism of what my job is, right? Always making sure that I'm doing things, more importantly, the right way, looking out for my people, showing that I'm caring, and protecting that chaplain at the end of the day. That is what's super important to me. And just that, like, service to others, I want them to not be screwed over by a system, and I want them to foster in a system and be able to have the careers that they joined for, whether it be 4 years, 10 years, 8 years, or 20 years, whatever it may be. Have you ever helped someone through a difficult time emotionally or spiritually? Pardon my language. What did that feel like? So, I have not experienced this yet. This is more of a matter of when, not if. But all of my peers and people who are ranked above me, kind of learning from their experiences of being an RP, I'm telling you, people look at you differently because you're an RP. I know an RP1 where he would get phone calls from Marines when he was with the Marines at like 3 a.m. telling him they wanted to kill themselves, right? Or whatever it is that they're going through, they reach out to that RP, have that conversation, and maybe they go to CHAPS, maybe they go to a more open source, whatever it may be to be best for them. But I want to be that strong shoulder for somebody, and eventually, like, I want to be that stability to support them through whatever they're going through. The closest thing that I have actually experienced to this is when I was on the ship and I just struck RP. The instant people found out I was an RP now, or becoming an RP, like that week, 4 different sailors came up to me and they were like, "Hey, can you help me get in contact with the chaplain?" And it was very simple. I just gave them the chaplain's number, and then they went to take care of their business, because I wasn't an official RP at that point, so I didn't really know what else to do besides that, right? But now I have that information. So I really look forward to helping my sailors and Marines in the future, if possible. What do you believe supporting chaplains and religious programs is important in the military? So on the Navy side, which is all that I've experienced with at this moment in time, to my interpretation, I'm not speaking for the DoD, but the Navy's really pushing spiritual readiness. It wants our sailors to be fit, both physically and spiritually, and being ready to handle whatever situation is going down, whether it be with the CB units, right, on a ship, SEAL teams, everything, that warrior toughness mindset. It's really pushing that out there. So I see a lot of value in it, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of believe in it. You don't necessarily have to be religious to be spiritually ready. Okay. Oh, and then also just another point, chaplains and RPs, we just offer resources that you literally cannot get from anybody else in the armed service. How comfortable are you in administrative, organization, or leadership roles in spiritual context? So, on the Navy side of things, I've obviously talked a lot about the Marine Corps because I think it's a lot cooler. But when you're an RP on the Navy, yes, that chaplain safety is always paramount. You want to care for that. You want to look out for that. But it's way, way more of an administrative role. Making sure things can be set up for religious services, right? Ordering things for whatever religious services they may be. Providing any religious material to your sailors, right? And this all happens in the Marine Corps too, just there's a different aspect to it. Myself, I remember when I first got to my current command as an RP3, Petty Officer 3rd class, I literally didn't even know how to use a printer. But now my skills have really been fostered up and grown by my leadership, so I'm very competent in that kind of work. And it sucks, right? It's not as cool, but it's still super important and someone has to do it. What challenges do you expect to face as an RP, and how do you plan to overcome them? So, what I was kind of explaining earlier, eventually people are going to look at you different. People are going to come and talk to you literally just because you're an RP. And they're going to say some wild shit, right? Some wild things. The way I plan to overcome any obstacles that I may face, whether they be good or bad, is just being a professional through and through and making sure that that person can get the resources that they, not me, they believe is best deemed necessary for them. Because I'm not making the options for them. I am just the bridge to assist them to whatever they need be. Sometimes that ends at me, and that's a cool thing, right? But most of the time it needs to go to the chaplain, it needs to go to an open resource, whatever they deem necessary. It is their solution. I'm just helping them foster that solution. How do you think being an RP will shape your personal growth or future goals? So, personal growth, just opening this wide array of professionalism where I have to pursue something and really understand that I can't be biased with like a personal belief, because if that person believes in it, that's important, and I need to be able to assist them. So having those skills in the more civilian side of the world, I think would benefit me greatly. But future career goals, I'm going to do my time in, and then I'm going to be honest with you, I want to be a bodybuilder. I want to be a Mr. Olympian. I want to get out and pursue that dream. But I still think that professionalism that I am learning from the Navy as a whole and being an RP as a whole is going to assist me in whatever my goal is going to be or whatever it changes to be. But that is all. That's just my 10 questions that I like to answer on why I wanted to be an RP. Catherine, I hope I hit everything that you kind of wanted me to hit. I encourage you, you don't have to be an RP. Whatever job you believe is best necessary for you, do that. Unless you're doing something in the military where you wholeheartedly love it, it's going to be a hard uphill battle, and a lot of people get burnt out that way. And it's hard to do something so rigorous or something that requires so much time of you if you don't have passion for whatever it is. So whatever you want to choose specifically, make sure your heart's in the game. Now, that's really everything that I got. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you learned something, like whether it be from a military aspect or just Religious Program Specialist aspect. I hope you all have a great day. Please leave any comments. I promise you I will 100% respond to all of your comments and help you out if you need any assistance, whether it be, figuring out what you want to join the Navy, doing what branch you want to join. You don't have to join the Navy. You can join any branch, all right? I hope you all have a good day. Thank you for listening.